What's going on, YouTube? I'm back for the second video, the follow-up of how to cure any disease. So pause this right now. If you haven't saw that video, go back and watch it, and also subscribe while you're on the way. Okay, we have a very important video today. Now we're getting into what are alkaline foods and what are acidic foods. I'm going to give you a few examples, but the way I like to do my lectures and videos is give you enough information for you to get a base of understanding, but also for you to go back and research yourself. You always want to research and verify your source on what you've been taught. And so in that way we can also have a dialogue. You guys can come back and comment, put your perspective in, maybe present some information that I don't know, maybe correct some information that I might have got wrong, vice versa. It's just like we're learning together and being healthy together. But anyway, we're gonna talk about alkaline foods, and if you follow the last video, alkaline will be higher on the pH scale, and that will be like more energy, and so that's pretty much like plant foods, fruits, vegetables, anything like natural from the earth, green or whatever that God made, iron, burdock, melons, strawberries. But be careful about the fruits, because you also have fruits that's been man-made, made in labs, have been crossbred, which would be hybrids. And so stuff like aloe vera, peppermint, sugar, pigs, beans, all this stuff is acidic. And the fruits on here, sweet potatoes, carrots, and different stuff like that, broccoli, a lot of this stuff has been made in labs or crossbred, which are hybrids. And by definition, a hybrid is the offspring of two plants or animals of different species or varieties, such as mule, and you will crossbreed. A mule was made by crossbreeding of a donkey and a horse. Or just say, for example, a buffalo and an oxen was crossbred, and that's how you got the cow. And so when you have these things that are crossbred and you consume them, what you're consuming is starch. And I'll do a video on that later about what starch is and how it affects the body. But anyway, it has to be starch because it's man-made and it's the binders, and so that depletes the minerals, and it depletes even the soil that it grows out, pertaining to like the when they crossbreed the different fruits and veggies and stuff, and majority of them, not all, doesn't have seeds. So you got to think about it. If you're ever in a store getting your produce and you see fruits and veggies that are seedless, most time we don't think about it. It's usually even a convenience for us, but you have to think about it. By nature, the natural way, how can you have a fruit that doesn't bear seeds? Like, that doesn't make sense. So right off the bat, if you have a fruit that is seedless, you know that it is a hybrid, that is unnatural, and that it is crossbred, which is a starch, which is bad for the body. Just like sugar, that's like the worst for the body. Like, it's so many acids that that's in a component of sugar that you see kids nerves bad and twitching and jumping around and stuff. A lot of that is just due from sugar, and so they'll treat that with medication and different stuff, where it's not always about throwing medicine at an issue. Sometimes it's about taking the wrong food out of the equation. But like, if you just think about like what's a alkaline food, like what's natural, it's like the molecular structure is complete in that. So that's pretty much, that's like why it's electric, that's why it's energy. If you think about any medicine is usually derived from some type of herb or natural food or veggie or plant. And then, just say for instance, you got the flu vaccine and different things, but if you take elderberry or you even take it as a tea, like it will get rid of like 50% of like your flu symptoms. Or say soursop fruit that has 500% more vitamin C than oranges, and so that's like good with treating like cancer, even pretty much better, just as good as chemotherapy, and it will be better than chemotherapy actually because you don't have the side effects of getting sick and all of that. So if you know anybody who has cancer, tell them look into soursop, do some research. The and you just think about it, even with the body, any machines you see in different function, usually those are mimicking like the body function. You think about conductors, machines, or anything. Just say, for example, how electricity, since we're talking about alkaline electric foods, how electricity is made, and it's pretty much just plain and simple, the friction of carbon and copper. And so when you think about it in a body sense, the brain is carbon and copper. The pineal gland would be the carbon, and the cerebral cortex would be the copper. And so when you think about how do you get energy from your like when you eat certain foods, pretty much when electricity is made, that friction that makes the electricity is called resonance. And so that is what makes electricity. So that what it electrifies your body and give you energy. So it's not necessarily just the food giving you energy, but it's the electric type of food that you're eating that that's giving you the optimal performance to pretty much make so pretty much the resonance of the pineal gland and cerebral cortex, the resonance is what makes it you electric. And so I'm gonna do videos breaking all this stuff down, whether it's the pineal gland, the cerebral cortex, what makes you electric, a lot of different stuff, hybrids, just anything. If you have something that you want me to specifically cover, just leave a comment in a box, and I'll try to get to that. But let's get to some of the more of the acidic food, like pizza, cheese, eggs, starches, pops, sugar, alcohol, beer. Like none of this stuff is good for the body, and so it forms mucus, inflammation, and so that's the base of all disease, pretty much. Mucus, which is inflammation. So a lot of times you go to the doctor, people have sicknesses, and a lot of times they say inflammation here, you got inflammation there, and a lot of it's just due to mucus and of the things we're eating, hybrids and different things like that. And so it's just a lot, to like think about and go into. And so I wish you guys would like subscribe and stay tuned and follow all the information I'll be putting out, because it's just like a lot of stuff to think about. Just say we have things like genetic predisposition, genetic affinity, and a lot of that stuff plays into what we eat and what's optimal for our body. So in general, fruits, veggies, and stuff will be good for everyone's body, and certain things will not be. But you have if you're like black, or you're like or African, or whatever they call you, or you're Caucasian, or you're Mexican, you might have certain foods that's optimal for you, that's not optimal for another group, or that's not good for you, that's good for another group, and all that deal with our genetic predisposition and our genetic affinity. And so I had to credit certain like doctors like Dr. Africa, Dr.Sebi, different people. So you might hear me reference them a lot, because me being what they would call an African American, I had to like study all food, all groups of what they eat, but I have to stick to my genetic predisposition and my genetic affinity to what's best for me. And so, like, for example, Dr. Sebi, he makes examples of you wouldn't feed a gorilla food that you would feed a polar bear. You wouldn't feed a tiger food that you would feed a dolphin. And so that makes sense. So, if I'm of African descent, you know, a, a natural indigenous grain like teff might be something that is optimal for me. Though it would be good for every group, but it may be some groups that it's not as good for, or vice versa. And so a lot of that stuff we have to take into consideration as well. And so I'm just excited about getting this knowledge out. I've been studying for a while and been pretty much, I wouldn't even say a vegan, because I think they call it like electric eating or something like that, because I don't eat meat, dairy, eggs, cheese, none of that. I also like starches. So a vegan at least would eat starches, but it doesn't matter whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or you're eating meat or whatever. It's just about doing the best that you can, doing a little better, just about progress. And so make sure you subscribe, and tell a friend to subscribe, especially if this information is helpful to you. I'll be bringing you more. So just get in the comment box and let me know what you think. Add, comment, even if it's just to say hi. I want to start, getting to know you guys, and so we can start helping each other. You guys can start helping other people, and they can help other people. We kind of like figure this thing out together. And so you don't forget to subscribe. And then so yeah, I think we're gonna just end this video right here, and I'll get back to the next video. I don't know exactly which one I'll be covering next, but you know what, just you guys might let me know, and I might cover something that you guys want me to. All right, peace.